All right. Well, let's take a look here. Madam Max Scott Belford is away. He is visiting his grandmother today. So just me. We were gonna take the day off, but I figured we'd come have a quick look at the AL East standings. Try and figure out who's got the inside track on this home field advantage. Um, as it stands today, here, let's try out the new screen share. Let's see if this works. Hey, look at that. Okay, cool. So we got the AL East standings here. So you can see Houston, New York Yankees, Cleveland Guardians winning their divisions. Nothing's going to change there. As far as the wild card goes, though, we've got Baltimore still hanging on for dear life. They do have a shot, but they're going to need a lot of help making the postseason. But as far as Toronto, Tampa Bay, and Seattle goes, I just wanted to have a quick look tonight at the upcoming schedules for everybody and see if we can discern a advantage or a disadvantage for somebody somewhere. So let's dive into it. If you're new here, like, comment, subscribe, do all that funny business as you do. Let's have a look here at the AL wildcard standings. So Toronto Blue Jays, I guess before we get too deep into this, we should acknowledge tiebreakers, okay? Because this is something misleading if you're just looking at this in a casual sense. The Blue Jays are a game and a half up on the Tampa Bay Rays. And they're 2 games up on the Seattle Mariners. But with the tiebreakers this year, Tampa Bay actually has the tiebreaker over Seattle and Toronto. That's based on their head-to-head matchups. Seattle also has the tiebreaker over Toronto. So basically, all we really need to worry about is this loss column here. So Toronto needs to end the season with fewer losses in the loss column than Tampa Bay and Seattle if they want home field advantage in that first round, which would send them, would host the other team. Oh, rough day. Apologies. Doing my best to get through this here. Okay, so let's take a look at Toronto's schedule first, remaining schedule. Let's go down here. We've got Boston Red Sox coming to town for 3, and then 3 against the Orioles. Now, it's worth noting that the Blue Jays have 6 games left. The Rays are in the middle of essentially their 7th game left against the Guardians. And the Seattle Mariners have 8 games remaining. That is a lot of games. They have the doubleheader down here on Tuesday, October 4th. So with that in mind, let's just check quickly the score of this Cleveland game. Still 1-0 in the 5th for Tampa Bay. But let's take a look at Toronto quickly. So Toronto's got Manoah, Stripling, and Gossman going in Boston. I like that to be a sweep. I know sweeps are really hard in baseball, but if you're ever going to hope for a sweep, Toronto is putting their best foot forward, having Manoah, Stripling, and Gossman there. Again, Manoah, and John Schneider said on numerous occasions that he will pitch Manoah in game 162 if home field advantage is on the line. So I have to take him at his word. Let's assume that is the case. Look, I want to pencil these Blue Jays in for 1, 2, 3, 4 wins. The Barrios one is a coin toss. Mitch White, I feel like coin toss is generous, but let's say 4 out of 6. Okay, so that's 2 more losses for the Blue Jays, which puts them at 71 losses on the season. Now remember, Tampa Bay has the tiebreaker. Seattle also has the tiebreaker. So if either of those teams gets to 71 or fewer losses, Toronto not getting home field advantage in the wild card round. But since both teams are already at 70, they only really have room for 1 loss in that situation, okay? So let's take a look at Tampa as they're playing tonight. They're playing the Guardians. They've split the series so far. They are winning tonight. So let's pencil that one in as a win. Let's say Tampa Bay holds on. Where's the score? There we go. 1-0 Tampa Bay. Let's say they hold on. Give them the win there. There's still 3 games left. Houston. How did Tampa Bay do last time they played Houston? Just over a week ago, they got swept by the Astros. Basically, Tampa Bay has it in tough. They need to win that series against Houston. 2 out of 3. Let's just say they do. Let's say they take 2 out of 3 against Houston. Then they still got to sweep the Red Sox to avoid that second loss. So, if the Rays win tonight, and they're up 1-0 right now in the 5th. If they win tonight, they still have, what do we say? 1 loss. This is assuming Toronto goes 4-2. Toronto goes 4-2, and let's just work under that assumption. Toronto gets to 71 losses. Tampa Bay can get to 71 and has the tiebreaker. So that would get Tampa home field advantage. So they have 1 loss to play with in this situation. 1 loss in these 6 games. I mean, they have to win that series against Houston, and then they have to sweep the Red Sox. That is a tall task. I would say advantage Toronto so far. Let's have a look at Seattle, what Seattle's got. Now, Seattle does have the softer schedule. They do have 8 games. Kind of the same situation as Tampa. They can afford 2 losses, right? Because they're at 70 right now. No, they can afford 1 loss. If Toronto's getting to 71 wins, Toronto's getting to 71 losses. Seattle can afford 1 extra loss in that situation. 2 losses does not cut it. So if we're looking at Seattle's schedule, this is interesting because 2 weeks ago, I was saying Seattle had the inside track at the home field advantage just looking at their schedule, right? This was a point in the season where we're looking at, on the other side of the Padres, they had the LA Angels, and then basically nobody above 500 for the last 2 weeks of the season. Oakland, Kansas City, Texas, Oakland, Detroit. They ran into some injury troubles. They are missing Julio Rodriguez, although he is slated to return on Monday, I believe. They're in tough. So what do we say? They can afford 1 loss in this situation. Again, we're operating under the assumption that Toronto, with Manoah, Stripling, Gossman, and Manoah, can win 4 out of their next 6 games. If they win 5 out of their next 6 games, if they win 5 out of their next 6 games, they're basically putting Tampa and Seattle in a situation where they have to win out. But again, the Barrios start is going to be tough. The White start is going to be tough. Baltimore, I think, is going to be done at this point in the season, but they're going to be playing spoilers, so they're going to be playing hard. Those aren't going to be easy wins. Okay, so Seattle can get 1 more loss here. They basically have to, in their next 8 games, go 7-1. Again, soft schedule. But when we look back at the first half of this soft schedule, they lost 3 out of 4 to the Angels, lost the series to Oakland, lost the series to the Royals. If they lose tonight, they're going to have lost the season to Texas. And then they basically have to sweep their way to home field advantage. That is going to be pretty tough for the Mariners to do. I know Oakland sucks. Let's have a look at the standings here. Let's go to... bear with me here. Wild card because that'll show us by league. Okay, in the AL, look at this. Detroit, Oakland, 2 of the worst teams in baseball. Athletics going to be a 100-loss team this year. Detroit's going to be pretty close as well. Probably won't quite get there. Bad teams that Seattle gets to win, but sweeping is difficult. Sweeping is difficult. I know that's kind of hypocritical of me because I'm saying I'm calling for the Blue Jays to sweep Boston. I have to have faith in the Blue Jays starters to get it done. But if we're looking at Oakland's winning percentage, they still win a third of their games. Detroit, they still win 2/5 of their games. So Seattle, without Julio Rodriguez, I think they're going to have a hard time sweeping Oakland. They do have Ray and Castillo. So that's what you want to see in your schedule if you're a Mariners fan. That first game, though, against Oakland, that's going to be one to watch. And then at the end of the year, against Detroit, it's going to come right down to the wire. I don't like the Mariners to sweep their way out, though. And if they lose tonight against Texas might be, I was going to say, might be their hardest opponent, but they're still kind of a bum, aren't they? So if Texas wins tonight, that puts the Mariners at 71 losses. Again, if we're operating under the assumption that Manoah, Stripling, Gossman, and Manoah can take 4 games for the Blue Jays in the next 6. Look, Jays going 4-2 is not a stretch. They've been playing well. I feel pretty good about the Blue Jays going 4-2 over the next 6. That gets the Blue Jays to 71 losses. So 71 is all the Mariners have to play with. They have 1 loss in their next 8 games. That is a tall task for any team to do, to just assume you're going to go 7-1. That is not easy in baseball. Tampa Bay Rays, again, let's just check in on them quickly. 1-0 in the 6th. So let's just pencil that one in as a win. Maybe I'm going to jinx them by doing that, but let's just say the Rays get that. Rays are in the same situation as the Mariners. Mariners can have 1 loss in their next 8 games, which is tough. Rays can afford 1 loss in their next 5 games, which is a little bit more manageable, except that they're playing the Astros 3 times. That's, I don't want to say bleak, but I would have to say, in my books, that is a Blue Jays advantage. Let's have a quick look at the live chat here. See what you guys think. What do we got going here? Phil, good day. Fair dinkum, sir. Scott. Did you get your playoff tickets yet, Scott? I think you were talking on Wednesday that you'd picked some up. I am not going to be going to a playoff game as a West Coast boy with a kid in hockey. I do not have a disposable income to justify a plane ticket to Toronto and tickets to a game. If we score in the first inning, game 1 of playoffs, we will be fine moving forward. Yeah, first inning really sets the tone, eh? Phil in Australia. I'm hoping for games at Rogers Centre, else my $4,000 return tickets from Queensland won't be as exciting. Phil, are you going to the game in Toronto? Are you coming in from Australia? That's really cool. Really cool. Scott. Yeah, man. Got the ALDS game 1 and 2. Hoping we make it that far. Oh, home games 1 and 2. So, what's that? 3 and 4 in the series? Probably against, what did we just decide? Against the Astros? Ooh. Yeah, hopefully we make it that far. Very cool. All right. I'm gonna take off here. I've got my own grandparents visiting. Scott is up north right now visiting his grandmother. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. I wanted to get something out. Figured we could have a quick look at the playoff standings. So appreciate that. Here's 15 minutes of content for you on an off day for the Blue Jays. Scott and I are back tomorrow morning with our regularly scheduled news show. Saturday is a day off for us. And then Sunday, long toss is going to be a good one. Longtime friend of the show, Anthony Telford, going to be back on long toss Sunday night. He's also a Rays fan, so we're going to get in his head and get his thoughts on the Rays. We also have stand-up comedian from Edmonton, Adam Blank, Tampa Bay Rays fan as well. So we're going to have some good, deep arguments and some heated discussions about Blue Jays and Rays. Should be a good show. Phil says, yes, going to meet up with Danny Jansen's dad and chug some steam whistle beers. Hey, there you go. Awesome. Well, have fun in Toronto, everybody that's going to a game over the next, let's just say, 5 weeks. Have fun and pour one out for me. All right. Cheers, guys. We'll see you Friday morning, and take care.